Welcome to Bench Points. It is time for us to get things tipped off, and we're going to start out hot. But before we really get going, we got to do something pretty important here. We're going to start out hot with a hot topic. Some of y'all may have heard of a man named Bruce Pearl, and he is stepping away from coaching college basketball. The timing is what I really want to dig into. But as a Tennessee fan, I am grateful that he's no longer there. And I'm also grateful who is now their head coach because I see the success potential of being very slim. I'm giving him a season and a half, maybe 2 seasons, but who knows? Maybe he'll shock us. But Stephen Pearl, I just did not see this on the bingo card. If I'm an Auburn fan, knowing that you could go out and maybe get a bigger coach and not just hiring from within about what was right there in front of you, pretty interesting. But obviously, the timing of all this really favors Stephen Pearl for obvious reasons. But yeah, definitely an interesting situations. That's our first bench behavior is the timing and the way this whole Bruce Pearl thing has kind of been handled. I feel like it's been kind of odd to say the least.
Yeah, so kind of came out of left field. Like the team had all summer to go through the transfer portal, to go through recruiting meetings and all that stuff for the 2026 class. A lot of summer workouts, a lot of like right up until when they're legally allowed to practice. And he kind of pulls the wool out from under them, right? Or the wool over their eyes. What's the saying? I don't know. I'm from Northern Indiana, so not Jeffersonville and not from the deep South. But it does not pass the smell test, in my opinion. Like, I know that there's been rumors about him doing politics. There's been rumors about this, that, and the other things surrounding Bruce Pearl. He's got a history. Now, some of the stuff that he was busted for back in Tennessee is perfectly legal now, I'm assuming. There's part of me in the back of my head with a tinfoil hat on right now that's thinking that he might have messed up somewhere, and this is just like, hey, you need out. Like, it's been ongoing for a while, and he timed this so that they had zero choice but to have his son be the interim coach. And then his son goes on and basically says, well, I'm going to call my dad for help. It just does not seem right. Doesn't pass the smell test. Don't know. I can't speculate on everything that's going on here. It just does not seem right.
So, Jay, before we get to your thoughts on this, Sam, do you think that Auburn knows what that they're like so they know if there is something, and hopefully there's not for their sake, but if there is, but I'm with you, it's weird, right?
I mean, we
But
can speculate, right?
of course.
And I can't imagine Auburn being the like 3-sport powerhouse that they are would just be like, oh yeah, this multi-million-dollar coach that has drug us out of irrelevance and put us on the map as far as like some of the top programs in college basketball. We're just going to let him go. We're going to let him walk like last minute, Cody Bennett style.
Well, they also filmed the whole video that they put out, and they sent it up on their Twitter, I believe.
Yeah, I think that this has probably been going on for a couple months. Like this is no surprise to anybody within the organization. I just think in the smoke and mirrors, like, well, look over here, don't watch us doing this. There's something behind the scenes, but again, that's all pure speculation. I don't know. Jake, what are your thoughts, bud?
One, as a dad, I'd have done the same if I wanted my kid to coach and I was on my way out. I am going to walk it down to him and hand it over. Because walking into that Auburn situation right now where you've got absolute stud to lead your team and Todd Pettiford, and I'm sure the boosters are working overdrive to make sure all those players stay. I don't have a lot of faith in Stephen Pearl. Like, I really liked him at Tennessee as a player. He did a lot of what you would like non-box score plays, drawing charges, Yeah, and which is like great. It means he understands the game and stuff. So he's probably ready to coach, like lead a team, because he's been doing different jobs throughout. I think he did strength and conditioning coaching, was film, and has been on the bench. But jumping into the gauntlet that is the SEC with your first shot that's rough. So I don't know what Auburn's going to do this year. That makes me really, really take a step back on what that team is going to do, because there was a lot of faith put in by Bruce Pearl to put this team together to get more out of them than what the talent says. But this also feels a lot more planned than it should. And I don't know if it's the politics that he's wanting to lean into and take a minute to get out of the limelight to get that all together and then make the run. I don't know. But on the first day of practice going, not going to be here anymore. Here's your new coach. It feels way too planned with how there wasn't a lot of anger out of like boosters and type stuff. Everybody was like, which props to them for keeping the secret. Like, that's impressive. If they kept that secret for longer than 2 weeks, that's impressive. But
I was
So
just saying that earlier. I thought the same thing. I was like, that's crazy to keep this secret in this day and age.
it leaves bad taste in my mouth, this whole thing.
what about
It kind of leans back to more of the Bruce Pearl we saw as an assistant coach at Iowa, doing whatever he could to get whatever that player's name was entrapped for saying Illinois paid him. Like, it feels more of that Bruce Pearl, or the Bruce Pearl telling everybody to lie to the NCAA at Tennessee, so that's why he got busted. Not the guy that is calling cancer patients every day and going to all the hospitals and being an exceptional coach in person.
right?
It feels like the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde version of Bruce Pearl.
Yeah, but I keep going back to what do you think the player's perspective is on this? Like, if you're a kid that you just signed like a $2-3 million NIL deal to come play for Bruce Pearl, who took a team to the Final Four last year, like, how are you feeling about this? Like me personally, like if Matt Painter calls my 42-year-old self, like, bad knees and all, and be like, hey, you want to come play for the Boilers? I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. And I signed my $17 NIL deal. And then, come week into the first legit practices you're allowed to run, and Painter says, adios. I mean, that's for a kid, 18 to 22 years old. I don't know. I don't know how I stomach that. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe this is my last year at Auburn. And maybe that's what I'm thinking.
And
Well,
there's no way
how many of these guys are Auburn, like, dyed in the wool guys,
Right.
Like, I mean, Pettiford is looking at the NBA. It's not like he's going to be a
Right.
4
he
5
just
year
needs to
guy.
stay healthy, survive the
Yeah.
year, go make bajillions.
Curious what's
I
going to
mean,
happen with the 2026 class.
yeah, and that's why this move is made. You're going to see a lot of these moves made earlier and earlier to get ahead of, one, to recruit your own team, and two, to recruit the next class, because like that signing day gets earlier and earlier, and that portal opens up right as March Madness starts. So you've got to have everything unlocked and start moving around and getting your people in the positions you want to be. Because if you're on the staff and you're maybe an older guy on the staff, you're probably like, I'm not going to be here for Pearl to rebuild this.
Right.
I got other places I'm gonna do. So like Pearl's got to put it. Stephen Pearl's got to put his staff together. So I don't know. So
He's got a lot of legwork to do. That's for sure.
And the players, and we're talking about how well planned, almost in a weird way that it feels how well planned. The players definitely didn't know, though. There's no way, because they would have been leaked for sure.
Yeah.
They would not have made it out. So I guarantee, I would have to believe that Stephen Pearl's been way more active and way more vocal in this offseason. So I feel like they probably had some thoughts. I don't think this came out of complete left field, but maybe just not right now. But it's definitely an odd situation. And that video they put out just was the most cringy video, with him coming in there and putting down his jacket, his Auburn jacket, and putting his hand on the chair, and just, it's time.
Yeah.
Like, good God.
Feels like a middle finger to college basketball and Auburn. I don't know.
Yeah, and then he's like, it's time. It's time for me to move on. Like, no, it's not. You weren't even on the hot seat.
Finish your contract.
Unless you were going to run for, and if you're going to run through, if you're going to run for office and all that and have that conviction, gotta love him, great. Go for it, whatever. But just weird timing.
I don't know. My thing is that anybody that supports this, like, I go back to it. Don't bitch when your college kid that you like on your team leaves your school after a year, because these coaches are doing this shit left and right now. There's no loyalty.
Such a good point.
Sports anymore. It's just disheartening. Like I said, this doesn't pass the smell test to me. I'm not a fan of this move. I'm not a fan of the nepotism. I'm gonna mention it because I bleed black and gold, but this is what makes me love Purdue right now, because they got a program and a culture built on loyalty and like people sticking around for the long haul and sacrificing and things like that. And this just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, this is becoming a little bit of an epidemic with coaches leaving late, because you had the dude at St. Joe's and the guy at Wofford getting fired and stuff. Like, this is the play. Like, as much as everything in the NIL and transfer portal has leaned players, coaches bailing out this close to season. The guy at Wofford didn't bail out, but it's just not. It hurts the game so much.
Yeah,
especially if you're going to have almost no continuity at your big programs for players staying around. Like, I mean, you're like one of your top few teams. UConn is a fairly new team. St. John's a completely new team. I think Purdue, like Houston, returned 3 guys. Like, there's not a ton of continuity with your top players and your name brand programs. So, like, what was the continuity was your coaches, and so now if they're bailing out right before the season, like it just hurts the game so much. And
Yeah, we're all old enough to remember 4-year players. You know, just
Yeah.
not seeing that anymore. You're not seeing 4 or 5-year coaches. Like if a coach comes in and they absolutely shit the bed for 3 or 4 years, of course they're going to get fired, right? Especially with these Power 5 schools. But you have like meddling coaches and things like that. All they're looking for is the next big opportunity, like McCollum, like Wade. They're building these programs up only for like resume padding, and then they're off to NC State, they're off to Louisville, they're off to Iowa, they're off to these Power 5 schools where they can make some more noise. And then that's one thing, right? But then it's like, oh, I'm leaving BYU to go to Kentucky, or I'm leaving Kentucky to go to Arkansas. It's just, I don't know. It's different. It's different.
Yeah.
Well,
Of course, I watched a guy with a crazy comb over coach for 20 years.
That you did. Well, so we've kind of addressed this Bruce Pearl. Sorry, Jake, I want to say I love what you said. This is becoming quite the epidemic in coaching. That's a really good point and a good way of saying it. But moving on from that, just a colossal screw up and just a poor representation of what officiating is supposed to be in college football. But the Auburn Oklahoma game was absolutely atrocious. Those men should be fined, suspended, something. That
Auburn had a bad week.
Yeah,
no
it was
kidding.
real bad. It
Yeah.
was real bad. I went on a rant. I think it was just when it was just me and you, Brad, about how the refs, there's no accountability there. There is nothing. Nothing happens. These guys screw up what is a very significant game for Auburn and Oklahoma both. But like it could be very well what puts them in the playoff and what doesn't, and what keeps them out. And you blow two obvious calls on. Or three just obvious calls on 3 touchdowns, and they all went Oklahoma's way. Like the scoop and score, that dude was carrying the ball. He just didn't tuck it up. Like that was a catch and fumble, and that was a score. You also had the play where the guy faked, which is clearly against the rules. The way it's written, you can't manipulate the substitution rule anymore. Clearly against the rules. They just ignored it. Let Oklahoma get 7 points there. A flea flicker pass where the corner was beaten, just tackled the receiver before the ball was even in the screen. And they just right in front of the ref, and they just ignored it. Like, okay, missed calls are missed calls. That's fine. But and then nothing happens. The SEC comes out and says, yep, they screwed it up. That shouldn't have counted.
See you next.
Okay, that's useless. Okay, you might as well handed everybody $1. Like, who cares that you're going to say that it was wrong? Like, it does nothing for Auburn. It doesn't change the outcome of the game, even though the game was a touchdown game where that was a huge play that could have very well switched everything. Something's got to be done. Some way these refs got to be held accountable, some kind of scorecard, something where they can just be fired, demoted, or maybe they get
Just a consequence.
whatever it is, something other than just like a little slap on the wrist. Something's got to, because we're talking about significant amount of money for these.
Yeah, these guys are coaching. These guys are reffing SEC games. I wouldn't let them reffing Wabash game. I mean, this is like the first one, okay, whatever, bad call. Second time when Oklahoma got their 7 points off that fake substitution, I was just like, this doesn't feel right. And then after the third one, where that guy just got completely laid out, I was just like, what in the world am I watching now? Devil's advocate, we have a ticket to Oklahoma, Alabama. So, our ticket value a little higher.
I was about to say that.
But from an Auburn standpoint, rough week. Just like, what a rough week.
That's, yeah. And you're already the little brother of the state, too. So it's not good.
Yeah, not good at all. Damn.
I know. Hey, here's a quick trivia question about Auburn. So obviously it's War Eagle and the Auburn Tigers, right? There's actually a third nickname. What is that third nickname?
Little brother?
Good one. That was well done, but that's not it. I think this name was associated with more of the baseball team, and it's no longer
Bo Jackson or Frank Thomas.
Clue.
The
Plainsman. Did Bo Jackson play on the baseball team in Auburn?
What?
Did Bo Jackson play on the baseball team at Auburn?
Yeah. Well,
okay. I knew he was.
Pretty sure he did.
A football player, but I knew he was being scouted for pros in baseball when he was in high school.
I think he was All-American in both, or something like that.
I didn't follow his college career in baseball so much as Like when he was on the White Sox, I got really excited and
Freaking stud.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I was thinking about this Auburn bad week. Do we think any of this is karma for the coach they ran off with the invented affair? The guy they hired from Boise, I can't remember his name, but the boosters invented an affair that he was having.
Well, yeah, Brian. Yeah, that guy.
So
Brian.
maybe this is a little bit of karma. All right, if you're going to be jerks about the football coach that was not doing what you wanted him to do, he was winning games, but they just didn't. He wasn't winning the ones they wanted, I guess.
Yeah,
and they ran him off. Now you're stuck with Hugh Freeze getting absolutely jacked by the refs, and then Bruce Pearl just bailing out on the first day of practice. Maybe it's a little bit of karma.
Yeah.
Auburn's going to have to really stick to their girth and their length to get through this tough time.
It's been a bad week for Auburn, and for that, we apologize. On behalf of Bench Points, fans of Auburn, maybe sit this episode out. I don't know.
Well, or just call in, let us know how you feel.
Yeah.
We'll put the number on the
put our phone number on there. Flash it right there.
There you go. It should be here. But no, seriously, leave a comment. I'm very curious to see how you feel about Stephen Pearl. Not as much about Bruce Pearl leaving, but about Stephen Pearl, about how you feel about him. That's really what I think would be fun to find out. But as we kind of pivot and move on from our bench behavior, we're getting into our standing O segment. And I actually have some, well, before we get to that one, Sam, you had one, and I think it deserves to be mentioned. But Danny Dimes, baby, he is. What the heck happened to him?
It's not Danny Dimes anymore. It's Indiana Jones.
It's Indiana Jones now.
Yeah, it's Indiana Jones.
Now.
Get the nickname right.
So
that is that actually taking off? So I've not been on social. That's incredible. I love that so much.
It is taking off. I set you up on that one. I wanted you to say Danny Dimes so we could all say Indiana Jones. This, I think we came on here a couple weeks ago, and this was like 2 days before the season opener. I was talking about how the Colts fans are the least optimistic base in the NFL, and here we are 3-0. Nick, you went to the opener with me. I mean, that was a we were just all kind of like, well, it's the Dolphins, right? Then after week 2, it was like, hey, that was some luck against the Broncos, and then now 3-0 against the mighty Tennessee Titans. Yeah, they're pretty terrible too. But I will say this. Indiana Jones, Danny Dimes has been doing some things that not even Peyton Manning was doing in his time in Indianapolis. It has been fun for the greater Indiana area watching this team play. I know we don't talk about the NFL a lot, but props to the entire Colts team, not just Indiana Jones, Danny Jones.
I mean, Taylor looks good. Taylor and Pittman look like they're having fun.
Taylor looks great. Pittman looks great.
Taylor looks like full on 100% healthy. Like he's got his full body.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. Tyler Warren from Penn State. My buddy Jeff is the biggest, shout out to Jeff, is the biggest Penn State fan. It makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. But he's been like, hey, you guys got to check this guy out. He's going to be phenomenal in the NFL. The Colts got him, and he's been phenomenal. The defense has been playing great. It's been, I will say this, the first 3 weeks of the NFL has got me a little bit excited to be a Colts fan again. I don't know if they'll win another game. Really don't care. The first 3 games is enough to get me optimistic about what's going on over there.
I mean, the good news is the division is just garbage.
It is.
Jacksonville looks terrible. It's just garbage.
Jacksonville's 2-1.
Yeah. Somebody had to win the Texans against the Texans. Jacksonville, more of those teams is going 2-1. I don't know. It's garbage, but when you don't have a quarterback that gets tired and pulls himself out of the game, that kind of guy burdening the rest of your team, and you feel better. And when you feel better, you play better, and you play better. Everything works out well. It's because the line was supposed to be a little bit worse than it had been this year, and it turns out they're going to be better. You get a quarterback that's actually out there fighting. And what's to say about the Giants organization? I mean,
dude.
You had Barkley go, and he looks like, a running back
leader
out there. And Danny Jones at New York spent the last 4 or 5 years just cursing his name. Went 2 games without a punt.
We've had
the Giants and the Bears may be the 2 worst organizations in sports.
And the Bears are on the up right now. The Bears, Caleb.
I think Ben Johnson has. Well, we can talk more. I thought Ben Johnson has a little bit higher of a trajectory, a little bit higher ceiling. But yeah, I think it's a great standing O. Danny Dimes, or Indiana Jones. God, I love that. I'm going to wear that out. I think that's great. But the next standing O, what we need to hit this real quick is John Mateer. That dude is a
Mater.
yes, Mater.
Tell me that's not a Mater move what he pulled off.
100% it was. I mean, his hands, broke his hand the first quarter and still played and at a high level.
And nobody knew.
Nobody knew. That's old school. I love that. God, every time he get falling on, knocking into it, because was it his non-throwing hand or throwing hand?
I think it was the non-throwing hand.
I feel like he'd be out for longer than a month if it was throwing hand.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's got surgery that he had. Dude fought through it. They knew, I guess, also knowing you have the bye week next week is useful.
Yes.
I'm just hoping that he's out one extra week than what they predict. So that way when they come to Knoxville,
Yeah.
I'm
with you on that. And I hate to steal the spotlight. And maybe, I don't know if y'all have seen this, but this was just sent to me literally while we've been recording. Did you all see the story about the Oklahoma grad that shows up to the hospital with gifts for doctor performing QB John Mateer's hand surgery?
That's awesome.
That's a little bit creepy.
It is a little bit. I'll send it to you all afterwards. For you all, check it out. The story, it was on outkick.com. Put it out there, but I was just skimming over. It's a very interesting story. The guy literally shows up. He's like, I have an appointment. Yeah, I had an appointment today. My friend John is having surgery. I wanted to know if I could drop something off for the doctor, just like a little gift. Proceeding to leave a note along with a banner is just peak fandom, especially given the circumstances around the return of John Mateer this season. Very interesting. Trey Wallace wrote that from Outkick. But yeah, it's a good little read there. I strongly recommend checking that out. But John Mateer, he's becoming a legend there in Norman. And I'm excited to be able to see him play.
Yeah.
When we see them down in Tuscaloosa. So we'll see the old Mater man himself. All right. So those are our standing O's. We got to get to our standing O. So John Mateer. And for this week's topic, we're diving into November. What about November? Just the best non-conference games that you do not want to miss. All right. As a coach in college used to say, sleep at night. So you can get what you need to get done, watch these ball games, make things happen, make time, get some equity with your family. If you need to go and spend a little extra time doing some other things, that's fine. You don't want to miss these games we're about to talk about. We got 15 games, I believe, boys?
We could probably go into 30, but
this was not easy by any means. A lot, but these are the 15 that we are going to put our stamp on, our bench point stamp, that you need to go ahead and put it on the calendar, and you don't want to miss it, for real. It's going to be some really great games. Let's see. I'll kick us off. What about Kansas, North Carolina? It's in early November. I don't have the exact date, but Kansas and North Carolina. The reason why I feel like this is such an interesting feature for me is the fact that I'm glad it's early in the season, because I feel like seeing how they compete with one another and how they respond to that going out for the rest of the season, or at least for the first, or maybe into like middle of December, to really see where those two programs are at. Obviously, I think UNC is in a much more difficult place than Kansas is, but also there's still a lot of hype behind Kansas right now, and rightly so. I've been doing a little bit more research on them, but I still just need to see some proof in the pudding, see if they still got the mojo. So that's for me is a really big key game that I'm excited to watch, and it's just like a blue blood game that I can't help but admit that always excites me.
Hey, the best part about it is one of those teams is going to lose.
I was expecting that to come out of either one of y'all's mouths. That's what I was expecting.
Yeah, those are two teams that, like, again, 100% agree with you. It is a fantastic early November game, something that we all get to like kick off the season to, right? Two blue bloods going head to head. Two teams that I absolutely care less about right now. Kansas, I think, has a bigger upside. Obviously, they did the money that UNC did on the roster. And I think UNC might be kind of playing for the survival of their coach this year, as opposed to Kansas, where it might be the survival of the coach in a completely different way. Because Self has been having some major health issues, so this might be the last time we get to see Hubert Davis, Bill Self. Obviously praying for the health of Bill Self, not his career. These are two teams that are like they're going in a different direction as some of our higher up teams that we love, but it's going to be a fantastic game. Early November, such a calendar. This is going to be a fun.
Like, the only redeeming quality of this game is going to be Caleb Wilson and Darren Peterson. Getting to watch those two guys play. Both are very, very, very good players. It's unfortunate that they don't play the same position so we can watch a duel. Other than that, this game, I mean, it's at Chapel Hill, so you never know what's going to happen. But this feels, as down as I am on Kansas, I'm more down on North Carolina. I don't know how much of a game this one will be, but who knows? I'm just happy somebody loses. And one of the stupid slow yelled cheers, like rock chalk. Somebody has to be sad and not do that. And that's going to be the best
other
part
group's going to be happy and doing the other channel.
Well, I can watch it on mute because God, I hate that so much.
I think
you can go on it and it'll be worth watching.
But
I think Henry Visar could be the big 7-footer from Arizona. I'm curious to see how Hubert works with him. I'm curious because he's never really had that before, which I don't have a ton of hope, but you never know.
I'm very down on North Carolina this year. I don't think the pieces work well together. I don't think they've got a coach that could force the pieces to work well together.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, Kansas is going to struggle outside 15 feet based on what their guys, like the guys they brought in. So this game is going to be interesting in the fact of I want to see what Kansas looks like. Just morbid curiosity what North Carolina looks like and how long. And it's just going to be like every week. Is Hubert Davis fired yet?
Yep.
Yeah. That's one of the early games, like their actual first
November
big
7th.
Game, right? Right.
It's November 7th. I think there's one big game on November 3rd. I believe we have a top 25 matchup on the 3rd, like the opening day.
Gotcha.
And then it's all about travel.
All right. Who's got?
Moving on, I got November 11th, Texas Tech versus Illinois. This is the potential National Player of the Year in Toppin versus the Serbian national team, coached by Brad Underwood. I think there will be 1 million points scored in this game.
100%.
Yeah, I think you will see at least 68 3-point shots attempted between the two teams. But it's going to be a fun one. Early test to see how two teams that I know my Boilers are likely going to play. Like, obviously, Texas Tech is maybe in the Baja Mar, and Illinois is a lock for at least one. So it's good scouting for me to watch this one, but I'm going to be tuned in anyway because these are two fantastic teams that I want to see go head to head.
Yeah, this game is very interesting to me because the way Grant McCaslin coaches is a great counter to what Illinois is going to do. Can Illinois spread the ball out enough that makes that defense run ragged and they drop 100 threes on them? Who knows? Or does Texas Tech be able to dominate it? I don't know. I think this went line somewhere in the middle and Texas Tech probably takes this game off of like a 3 or 4 minute run where that defense gets locked in and Toppin just kind of takes over kind of late, or a cold stretch from Illinois. Well, I mean, you're going to hear that anytime we talk about Illinois here on this and leading up into the season. A cold stretch from 3 is going to kill that team because there's not that much to the bucket presence or rebounding presence on that squad.
I do believe that every time we bring up Illinois, we should have Jake or guest appearance Becca come in and say one of the players' names.
Well, maybe.
It is actually, it is funny that I'm very interested to hear how the announcers handle that game.
It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be rough.
Closed captioning will not be able to keep up.
No.
There's too many letters to type out, even if you were fast enough.
There wasn't a single vowel in that name.
All right.
I can run next. I've got, we'll see, on November 8th, we'll go Alabama St. John's. I think that is going to be a Final Four-esque game. You've got, I think St. John's is the better team, but I probably leave Alabama in this early contest here just because St. John's is going to be so new. But I think it's an extremely good contest. It's going to be two teams that don't play similar-ish styles. St. John's leans a little more defense, where Alabama leans a little more offense. But this is going to be a lot of fun to watch to see what these teams look like without. They're missing stud players from last year with I cannot remember his name. The guy that sat out all Patino benched because he decided he was leaving Sweet 16, the second round game, and they got beat by Arkansas. RJ Lewis. And then Marcus Sears being gone. It's going to be interesting to see what these two teams are going to do without those guys. And I think this is one There's going to be several games going on the 8th. I think it might be a Saturday. I didn't look at the calendar. This is one that has to be on one of your TV screens.
100%.
This is what I think is going to be the final breakout game.
Like, it very well could be, but
Hey, great scouting for the three of us
mm-hmm.
going into Tuscaloosa in about a week
For sure.
after that.
Yeah, it's just going to be a blast to watch. It's two great coaches, two great teams going at it, and it's not like watching the great Tony Bennett teams where they try to score 12 points in 40 minutes. These teams are going to try to put up 17 trillion.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot of fun to watch, even if you're a casual college basketball fan.
Jake, you got next, buddy.
I can keep running. This one I want to sneak in here because if you watch our SEC preview, I'm very high on Oklahoma, and I think this is their first big shot to show it. And if it doesn't go well, then I'm going to be real wrong. But I think Oklahoma versus Gonzaga is a very interesting game. I think it's going to do a lot for seeding. I think it's going to be a good win in either team's back pocket to hold to, like, when you get to that committee that you can wave in front of them like, hey, we got this one. You've got two decent coaches. Few is a pretty good coach, and I put Porter Moser on about the same level, but Porter Moser is also on a bit of a hot seat because he's underperformed at Oklahoma, so he needs this. Oklahoma really needs this.
Mm-hmm.
I think they do it just because I'm high on Oklahoma and I'm low on Gonzaga, but I think it's a very scary matchup. I think it'll be fun to watch. I should have wrote down start times, didn't. I'm probably on about the same time as the Alabama St. John's game, so this will be one that I'm checking in on timeouts and whatnot. Alabama St. John's is going to dominate my TV there.
Yeah, this is Oklahoma's early season shot to crack the top 25 against a perennial top 25 team. I'm not sure where Zags are kind of locking in on people's top 25s. I've seen them anywhere from like 16 to 25, 24 range. I'm not high on Zags this year. Like, got question marks around Oklahoma, but if Jake's high on Oklahoma, I'm definitely going to be interested in watching this game. I think you're right. I think if you can split screen this or however you do it, get this game on somewhere.
That's exactly what I was about to say. I think about trying to cancel it all the time, but then that multi-view, when it hits, and it's like, golly, can't get rid of this.
Like, not kidding you, last week, my wife came up to me and was like, what do you think about canceling YouTube TV? Because we don't really watch it that much right now. And I'm like, if basketball season wasn't right around the corner, I'd say, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. And she said, you said that in March.
Yeah.
So what? Yeah, basketball season's gonna be right around the corner then too. So
yeah. it kind of stays around
anytime soon. Snaking back around here, I'll go November 13th, a game that we've probably talked about 78 times already. A game that the three of us will be at. Me and my boiler gear, obviously. Jake, Brad, wherever you guys want to wear, as long as it's not red.
Mm-mm.
Purdue, Bama. What more can we say about Purdue? Basketball, there are probably going to be one or two preseason. This is going to be an early test in Tuscaloosa. If you hit the rewind button, last year Alabama, number 2 in the country, came into Mackey Arena and got shocked. So let's hope history doesn't repeat itself and a number 1 or number 2 Purdue doesn't go into Tuscaloosa and get dog walked by the Tide here. But it's a Nate Oates team, and Nate Oates teams are dangerous. As Jake said, there's going to be a 1,000,000-point game. You got the 2 top offenses in the sport going head to head. This is not a rock fight. This is not a defensive showcase. This is scoring at its finest.
And these are two coaches who love games like this. They thrive. They love. It fires them. They let they live for it. Every coach should, but ththese guys schedule like they actually mean it.
This is Gotti Ward. This is Gotti Ward round 9. If you guys haven't seen that, YouTube it. It is just like two teams just throwing haymakers, standing in the middle of the ring throwing haymakers.
The best part about this game, I can't believe neither one of y'all have mentioned it, is we get to see a true point guard duel with Philon and Smith going back and forth.
Very true.
That ball is going to be in those guys' hands for 90% of the game, and this should be a very tight game, back and forth, so it should be a lot of fun towards the end watching those two guys live and die and filling the crowd live and die with every decision they make. It's going to be intense. It's going to be fun. I'm so happy we get to be there. But like, even if you're on TV, this is one of those games that, like, even if you're not a fan of either team, you just slowly start creeping up on your seat, and then like it's the last 2 minutes of the game, and you'll just find yourself standing up, and you don't realize you were standing up for the last shot. Like, it's should be a fantastic watch.
Jake, you described what happened last year when we
Yeah.
watched that game.
I know. Yeah, John memories, right?
No, I agree. I can't wait. This will be an awesome time. And it's going to be a packed house. That place is going to be rocking.
It'll be the first time the three of us are together in the same room. It'll make
Yep.
we'll have a big comfy couch podcast on that day.
That's right. Yes, we've got some ideas that we've been kicking around for that, so you all don't want to miss that content. It's going to be very fun. All right, so I think I've got the next one here. This one may seem a little bit weird to some folks, and this matchup did take a little bit of I wouldn't say a hit. It's a hit if you're Iowa State. It's a benefit if you're Mississippi State. I think they can make this a very interesting matchup. I think Chris Jans is he's an interesting guy. But the Duke can flat out coach. I mean, don't ask him to come on a double date with you and your spouse. But other than that, Chris Jans can flat out coach basketball. And I think in them going to Iowa State, and that's just really intriguing to me. I think there's just a lot of potential there. But with I'm sorry, I forgot that kid's name, Gus.
Lipsy.
It just came out, I think it was just a few hours ago. It wasn't that long ago. That he's going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks with the knee injuries. That's a big bummer for Iowa State. And so that takes a little bit of a hit, but also makes it more interesting in a lot of ways. And also, I have to say this about what?
So it's a good litmus test for Iowa to play without him.
Oh, yeah. And
I
Josh
don't know
Hubbard,
if they'll be playing without him. It's questionable because, like, we're talking about an early November game, so you're looking at I don't know.
it could be close.
He's the articles I was reading is like they're kind of expecting him back for the opener, but it's going to be like a tapered run in.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that he's going to be missing like that getting in
All
that
preseason practice.
Yeah. Like a lot of the excuses, the same excuses they're using right now for Lagway at Florida. Well, he was hurt all offseason, so he didn't get to do all his practicing. So he's doing that now. Like he's going to. I mean, the guy's a 3-year starter, so the rust is not going to layer on him too much. Stepping into a game like this, because I believe this is at Mississippi State too.
Oh, I thought it was at Iowa State.
I could be wrong. More than happy to be wrong. But Chris Jans, an incredible coach, was absolutely dominating in New Mexico State before he moved to Mississippi State. And just Mississippi State was not really a basketball school. Then he shows up and they've made 3 straight tournaments if you count the first 4 since he's been there. 20 plus games each year. This team is good. They're loaded. Hubbard is an absolute stud. I think he's under 6'2", which is kind of cool for all you short kings out there. Looking at you, Alex. But
I hope he watches this.
My man launches from anywhere, and when he gets hot, it's unreal, and he could absolutely bury a team if he needs to.
Yeah, so it's at Iowa State for November 10th.
I was wrong. I'm sorry.
That's going to be I really do think it's going to be very interesting. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I was trying to think when we were doing the SEC preview, there was a player that I knew I just could not figure out who it was, and I could picture the jersey, I could picture him, but it's Josh Hubbard. I feel like he's very underrated. The dude can flat out play, and he's just a solid guy. He's got to be the leader of this Mississippi State team. He's got to be the man. He kind of has been the man, but he really has to lead this team for them to have success. And so I'll be looking to him for that. Do what?
He tends to shoot them out of games at times, too. He
tries to do too much.
Sometimes he loses that shot selection smartness and just starts launching 30-footers. But when they go in, you're like, all right, let's do it. But
sounds like Sam when he was playing in the Canadian Church League.
Yeah, just
you remember the old adage from last year, the year before, and the year before that, live and die by Caleb Love. It's kind of the same story here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Except Hubbard passes the ball a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. He sees the floor better. Let's just say that. All right. Who's next?
You got 2.
This one may be the most Kentucky Louisville. Okay. So this is
T-ball.
I'm very excited to see it, mainly because I think Louisville actually has a shot at really giving Kentucky a hard time. And God, I would love to see it. And this Louisville team has talent that they've not had in a while, and a coach that's getting some buy-in and getting some support from their fans. And college basketball is better than Louisville's best. Like I think that it's just a better product. But this is one of my favorite games of the year, every single year, no matter what. And it really just has to do with how much I just completely dislike Kentucky, and Louisville hates them as much as I do. So yeah, I'm all Louisville in that game every single year. But this one's going to be interesting.
If Louisville's going to get off the mat in that rivalry, this is the team to do it. If they don't do it this year, that's just they're no longer a rival of Kentucky. It's just somebody that Kentucky just dominates.
Yep.
I'm with you. I think this will be one of the best early on games we're going to see because there's a lot of hype flying around Kentucky right now that I'm not quite buying. We on this podcast have been big proponents of Louisville, so this could be a bench point stake your flag kind of game. Because if Louisville comes out
That's a
there and
fair point. That's true.
lays an egg, we look real dumb real quick in the season.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna say something controversial. I'm gonna piss off the Kentucky fan base once again. We've actually had some pretty positive interactions with a couple of some of those folks, but I'm gonna say Louisville's the best team in that state, and I got a sneaking feeling that if Louisville goes in there and gets dog walked, we're gonna hear about it. So I'll make this friendly wager right now. To any Kentucky fan watching, pick the Kentucky jersey. I'll wear it on the podcast if Kentucky comes in and wins in a rout. Now, if it's a close 1 or 2 point game, whatever. But if it's like 10, 13, 16, 20, and Kentucky just absolutely curb stomps Louisville, oof, I'll do it. I'll wear the jersey or the sweater or the hat or scarf or whatever the hell it is you guys choose.
Could be so mean right now. But I would refrain. But I will say, the best thing about Kentucky ever was, and will ever be for me, is Tayshaun Prince. Tayshaun Prince. I love Tayshaun Prince. Always have, always will. Love him. The dog.
Hell you stand alone on, Brad.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean,
I love Tayshaun Prince.
To me, he was not likable until he played on the Pistons. Until then,
I don't think he was a very fun person. I don't think he's somebody I want to go have a few beers with, but I loved his game, other than the fact that he kept Ron Slay from getting Player of the Year a couple of times at least.
I was a big Ron Slay fan, so I won't forgive him.
Oh, yeah, me too. I still love Ron Slay, Slay Rod. Ron Slay, love you, man. You are the best. One of my favorite balls of all time.
Oh, for sure.
All right, who's next? I've talked way long enough.
No, I love it. I got November 15th, UConn BYU. Now, you rub your hands together on that one. Now, shout out to my buddy Mike, who I work roughly 15, 20 feet away from on a daily basis. He feeds me so much UConn stuff. Is Braylon Mullins' uncle, so there is a lot of bias there. I think he wanted me to mention UConn, Illinois, but I'm not really excited about that one. I'm more excited about UConn BYU because, one, I hope DeBansa gets to play. Stay celibate, brother. And then two, I'm really excited to see this UConn team. I say that I'm not excited to see him in a tournament setting because I'd hate for it to repeat 2023. I do think that it is shaping up where it might be a UConn Purdue year again. It might, but I'm excited for this UConn team in general. Braylon Mullins, kid from Indiana. You got a solo ball. You got Caravan coming back for his 33rd season. It's going to be one of those fun teams, and against probably the number one overall pick in the NBA draft with BYU. Big, high profile action, high profile players, high profile coach. Great early season game.
Look, this game didn't make my list because I'm not a believer in BYU yet. But if you're going to do something, here's the game to show it.
Yeah.
You don't have to beat UConn to show it. Just if you hang with them, I'm totally okay with answering those question marks that I have and saying, okay, it checks off. Let's pay attention. But if you get dog walked out of that game and out of that arena, boy, it's going to be a rough season because that Big 12 is thick and mean, and it's just not going to be pretty because you're dependent on a lot of guys that haven't really done it that well, and who knows because. But this is going to be a put up or shut up game for me for BYU. If they don't do it out, they're going to fall quickly to irrelevance for me.
And that's exactly what, and my excitement more around the fact that I think Hurley wants to wipe his ass with BYU. I don't think he even wants to be in this conversation with BYU, that this is even that big of a deal. And the fact that it is, I feel like he's going to take it personal. I mean, he's already quite insane, and I'm here for it. I mean, it makes for great content. But I'm kind of with you, Jake. He's got to do something. I mean, they've got to contend. They've got to really compete. They've got to be in there getting their hands dirty 100%. This is either going to expose them or it's going to either confirm or deny the hype.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think Hurley's got a better team, but I think BYU's got better lottery picks, and I think Hurley's going to take that personally because he's got a couple lottery picks of his own on that team. So it's going to be.
Did you say that's on the 13th? I don't mean
That
if
is
you've got that
on.
on there. Or did I
That
miss
is
that?
on the 15th.
Okay. I'm making my own note there, putting it on my own calendar. All right.
Like I've got one. It's going to be way under your radar, and probably should be. But I'm interested in it because I want to know what's going to happen with these two teams. But November 14th, Xavier, Iowa. I am very curious to see what happens here. Iowa's catching a little bit of steam right now, a little bit of hype with everything McCollum brought in and Sturts and all that. Like rightfully so. I mean, but that team also did get rated from last year, and so was missing a lot of stuff that they had. So I'm interested to see what Iowa looks like. I want to see what Little Patino does with. I mean, his Xavier team's going to be outmanned here.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, the guy's been fighting as a mid-major where he's been outmanned most of the time.
Yep.
He can absolutely coach his tail off, and I think this is an early season. If you want to look at bubble teams, this could be Xavier's flower in their cap kind of deal, feather in their cap, not flower, Lord, kind of thing. Like, hey, like you've got this Iowa team locked in. We handled them early on. Or this could be a really bad sign for Xavier's year, just because the Big East isn't that good, but he's going to want more than just being right a step behind Creighton and Marquette. So I'm very interested in it. I think it'd be a lot of fun to watch, especially the way Iowa was going to play and the way Xavier's going to play. There's going to be a lot of speed, a lot of pace, a lot of threes. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and McCollum can coach. I mean, we've talked about this before. I'm high on him a lot. He brought Sturts with him. Like, they're gonna be fun to watch. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
I think that's going to be the Sturt showcase game. This is going to be like, hey, you've done playing Sisters of the Poor and Blind Man State. This is an actual Power 5 conference team. Come in and show us what you got. This isn't Drake anymore, big boy. Let's see what you can do. Starts as an absolute flamethrower, and I think this is going to be his showcase game. Of like, let the world know who he is and where he's at.
And one of the best things you can do to show a showcase game is to wear it across your shirt. And you can get shirts like that at WinWear, winwearapparel.com. And you can use the bench points, all one word, as our promo code there. Go check that out. They have you've seen them on our episodes before, but there are lots of different schools and states. I guess it's just states, right? I don't know that for exactly, but you got to check it out.
States and cities.
Yeah, states and cities. That's right.
Tonyed up for the licensing yet, so it's the states and cities, which that
That's right.
covers 95% of your sports teams in general.
Exactly. So I've got a Tennessee Moneyline shirt. I love it. People ask me about it all the time. So that's a good way to showcase your fandom and showcase where you are putting your money.
I wore my WinWear jersey to the gym the other day, and I got asked to play in a pickup basketball game. And then when I, was winded after the first time up the court and had to come off, get on an emergency respirator, the guy said, "I thought you could ball," and I was like, "No, but I look like I can with my WinWear jersey."
Yeah, there you go.
You look good, you play good.
Yeah, that's right.
I look good while dying.
Coach Prime. All right.
I got the next one too, I think. This one, the Champions Classic, is losing a bit of steam just because the teams are falling off just a tad bit. But Kansas Duke there, I think, is the more interesting matchup. Michigan State losing one of their better players kind of bit the steam out of the other version, other end of the Champions Classic. But Kansas Duke on the 18th is going to be a very interesting game because you've got two teams that are just loaded up with hype, loaded up with supposed talent. I mean, I believe a lot more in Duke than I do in Kansas. I think Duke is going to handle this one, but I think it's also a good first early look at what Duke's going to be. Because if Duke comes out of the gate hot and is playing well, they're definitely the best team in the ACC because they're the most talented team in the ACC. But if they stutter a little bit out of the gate and it takes them a minute to get all those pieces working and stuff, I think that's when you're going to see Duke struggle a bit through the ACC. Not really struggle in the ACC conference play, but they'll drop a few games they shouldn't if they come out struggling, because it's going to take, just in my head, take just a minute to get the defense right that Shire wants to run. The offense is going to be fairly easy. You're going to run that through Boozer and Sar and then find some spot up shooters, but I think defensively this will be a very, very good test, because I think Darren Peterson is kind of player for Kansas that can really test a team to see how good that defense is, because he is very under talked about to be as good as he is. Like, he's probably, in my opinion, the top player in the class, and just has an all around game, and he's really going to put Duke to the test here.
Yeah,
I think it's a great pick.
I'm really high on Duke. I think I agree with you. I think they're going to need these early tests early in the year to figure out who they are come ACC play. But I think they're going to make a deep run in the tournament. I think they're loaded with talent. But I think they're coming out of the gate. They're not going to be your prize horse, right? They're not going to be the one that's leading the pack. But at the end of the year, I think they're going to be right there.
And what was the date on that? What was the date on that one, Jake?
November 18th.
Holy, I mean, so November's. I mean, it's pretty stacked. Like it's almost every weekend. There's at least a go-to game.
College basketball has long been the best scheduled sport ever.
Hands down. More games too, but still.
Yeah, part of it's the amount of games you get to play, but the non-conference, because of how the committee looks at stuff, gets you into a lot of top teams matching up, and a lot of your Final Four contenders and teams that think they're Final Four contenders matching up, giving you great games, not just one or two and then 17 cupcakes to then conference play. It's college basketball gives you absolutely comes through on the schedule every year.
All right, Sam, I am.
Well, I was going to go with an earlier game, but since we're already on the Champions Classic, I'm going to go kind of roll into Michigan State, Kentucky. The other game on that back-to-back, to Jake's point, Michigan State has kind of lost some steam with losing, it was Atkins.
Yes.
Is that who it was?
I think so.
But, you never count out Tom Izzo. You never count out Michigan State. This is going to be a very interesting Kentucky team. Like I said, they're more palatable now with Mark Pope at the helm. It is a bought and paid for roster, but I'm kind of excited to see these teams go head to head. I was watching some Michigan State highlights the other day. Cohen Carr can jump through the hoop. So at the very least, even if Kentucky beats Michigan State by 1,000, Cohen Carr is going to make some noise. And it'll also be a really good test to see how much he has grown as a player from last year. Like, I know they have some big expectations. Are we going to see a Kim Hyde, Miles Coleman situation out of Cohen Carr? Or are we going to see a new Cohen Carr that makes us believe that Michigan State can be right back in the Big Ten hunt and tournament hunt?
We talked about this in the Big Ten preview, where a lot of the hype around Michigan State is how much, what's his name? Cohen Carr improves, because if he gets a jump shot, then he becomes deadly. But if there's no jump shot, he's never going to get the show. He's never going to get the show off unless it's a fast break, because nobody's going to guard him out there, and then that just clogs up the lane and really hurts everything. But it was Caleb Glenn that got hurt. Him on the floor spreads everything out, makes Michigan State a lot better. He's done for the year, tore a patella, and so it's not like he might come back. It's gone. So I'm down on Michigan State. I just do not think they've got the talent this year. I don't believe in what I've seen of Cohen Carr that the jump shot is fixable enough from year to year to carry this team like he's going to need, like they're going to need him to. And I mean, I'm a little low on Kentucky. I don't like how those pieces fit, but I'm kind of in the minority there. So this game to me can absolutely prove me wrong on Kentucky, but I think it lost a lot of steam when Glenn went down.
Yeah, I think it's a learn-a-lot game. But it's a Champions Classic, and it's definitely high drama.
I wish we could rotate some teams into that Champions Classic. That we need some blood.
Like some champions from not 25 years ago?
Yeah. Like I think we should have, the last 10 years, did you win a championship? Okay. Or play for one, at least?
Yeah.
But who knows? I'm not in charge of the Champions Classic, though I should be.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? We both wish you were. That would be pretty incredible. Michigan versus San Diego State. Don't sleep on this game, people. This is, again, one of those showcase games. I think it's actually, that'd be my question. Do you think this is who does winning this game do more for? I think San Diego State really could use this win for leaving the Mountain West. They're transitioning out. They're heading into the big boys, things like that. But at the same time, Michigan, there is a lot of hype. Sam, I know you're really high on Michigan. So I think this will be a really interesting game. It's at San Diego State. I really think this will be a fun one to watch.
This will be a fantastic game. And I've got the opposite opinion. I think this is more important for Michigan than it is San Diego State. The Mountain West earned a lot of respect over the last handful of years. Like
Sure.
the Utah State, like teams like Utah State, Boise State, Colorado State, all getting in, stealing a game or two throughout those. Like I think they had 4 or 5 teams at the tournament last year. So I think that conference is as mid-major-y as people want it to be, and we know that San Diego State's loaded talent-wise. They're bringing a ton back. Michigan's a brand new team. Yeah, and Mawa or whatever his name is, the shot block king.
I can't ever say it. Yeah,
or something. But
Magoon.
Michigan's a brand new team, and this is a tough test early on. It's going to be much closer to home for San Diego State than it is for Michigan too. So.
Yep.
Like, there's a lot of disadvantages heading Michigan's way. So I think for the hype.
I'm sorry, is that game not at San Diego State?
No, this is the play.
The players there.
My gosh, that's right. I knew that.
No, this is pure cinema. I'm with Jake 100%. I think Michigan's going to be the juggernaut that Torvik thinks they are, that Evan Maya thinks they are, that I'm sure Ken Palms thinks they are, that I'm sure the net is going to come out probably December, January time frame. I think they're going to see Michigan as a juggernaut too. This is like a big litmus test for them. This is the San Diego State team that's been a thorn in everybody's side for several years. This is a national title runner-up from a few years ago, and obviously different players. But it's. I think Michigan needs this. If this is a good potential message sending win and a Players Era tournament that they can, send this down the halls of the Big Ten and let them know Michigan's on the map. I know right now, I think Torvik's got Michigan ahead of Purdue. So this is going to be a statement game for Michigan.
Yeah. If Michigan's gotta have this one to justify the hype.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Shut up or shut up. That's for sure. All right. This is the best game in November. Tennessee versus Houston. It may be literally. This is, as a defensive guy, I love defense. I love seeing how the scheming behind it, and these two teams do it just about as well as anybody in the country. And they're led by two of the best coaches that are in the country, and have been for a long time. And this matchup is going to be painful as a Tennessee fan, but also exciting as a Tennessee fan, because we're going to be seeing kind of a true dose of our own medicine. And I mean, they're going to be prepared for each other. I'm going to tell you that, because they play so similar. So it's just going to be really interesting to see what little things they do to change things up to make this game stand out and to really give themselves an advantage due to how similar they are.
Yeah, I think this more than leans. This is Houston's game. Tennessee's putting a brand new team together, really trying to figure out themselves. And this is 3 weeks into the season, and you're looking at championship contending team that was there last year. They returned their 3 to 4-ish best players, added into top 25 freshmen that are studs, like with one of the better coaches out there in a long time. So I think it's a good test for Tennessee. I think we're going to learn a lot about ourselves, but I don't have any dreams of winning the game. If they win that game, if Tennessee wins that game, I will be over the moon, and I will be putting in future bets for Tennessee to win it all. But if this goes like I expected, it's going to be brutal.
But it's going to be close. I mean, I think it's going to be competitive. I don't think it's going to be really.
Houston is a suffocating defense, and if our shot's not going, if the chemistry's not quite there yet, it can get ugly in a hurry, as we saw just a few months ago.
Yep. Yeah. Very true.
Yeah. So here's where I'm at on this. Houston or Purdue is going to be the number 1 team in the country preseason and probably going into this Players Era. There's not much more we can say about Houston or Purdue. I've been following Tennessee pretty closely for the last several years. And then like this offseason, like some of the stuff that they've released and some of the practice footage that's kind of, poured out, and some of the talk around the team and like how they're building. I'm starting to get really, really, really high on Tennessee. And I think part of it is the one thing I think I've always said about Tennessee is, as good as they are defensively, they are a liability on offense. Outside of like Dalton Connect, outside of Lanier from last year, it's just been one guy. Occasionally somebody else steps up and makes a couple baskets, but if Dalton was off or Chaz was off, you weren't getting much help elsewhere. I am so high on the Gillespie, Nate Ahmet combination that I think this is a shock the world game for Tennessee. I think they come in and be like, look, this is the new look Tennessee. We still got that gritty defense that's going to literally grind you for 40 minutes. But we also got a offensive combination that can run a hell of a pick and roll that can kind of beat you up inside, outside, get that 15-footer, that pocket pass kind of interior, beat you up, slapping in the mouth style. I'm excited. I see Gillespie and Met as like just a slightly tweaked version of Braden Smith TKR. I am high on Tennessee right now. I might eat those words in 2-3 months, but this is a Tennessee team that I'm really excited about. And I'm not like blowing smoke up at two Tennessee fans' butts here, because God knows I've been accused of a Tennessee fan, and I promise you, when Purdue plays Tennessee in the tournament, I will not be a Tennessee fan.
And it will happen, because it's just how everything goes.
It just will.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm
it's
high
in the
on
stars,
these
man.
guys. Like, as Nate Ament and Gillespie will be like a duo that we're going to talk about come March as one of the deadliest duos. And if they're not, then I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. But this is why I'm high on them. I think this is a shock the world game.
I hope you're right. I was talking to my dad this weekend, and it's not this one person offense has not just been a Rick Barnes thing. It's been a consistent Tennessee thing. If you go back for a while, you had Wayne Chisholm that carried that offense. You had Scooter McFadden that was like, I mean, I was a huge Scooter fan.
Love Scooter.
Josh Richardson, his last year was the only offense we had in that game. I mean, even when Zakai got hurt, it was Meshack that carried the offense.
That's right.
It's wild how that has been a consistent Tennessee issue, where it's been a offensive one man and a bunch of maybe they'll show up guys, except for the Grant Williams team. The Chris Lofton team, Chris Lofton gets a lot of love, and deservedly so, but like I said, CJ Watson was also on that team, and Joshua Smith that were doing a lot of scoring as well.
Yeah, I think that's exactly why I'm high on these guys, because I don't think it's going to be a one-man offense. I think they're starting to figure things out a little bit. Like, I think this Tennessee team is deadly.
Meshack and Ziegler, I think that with that leadership presence, and those boys, they ran the team.
Yeah,
they were the players' coach in a lot of ways, and I think not having them is definitely going to be an adjustment. So I'm really hoping that, and I've not heard enough about how vocal Gillespie is, but I think that he has the opportunity to be an immediate leader and a voice on the court and in the locker room. So I think that's definitely going to be needed. I expect that if not. So I think that's going to play a big factor into this game. And I mean, this is going to be as much of a physical game as a mental game. So it's going to definitely be more of a chest out checkers kind of deal. Now we'll just see if our young team can keep up with the veteran juggernaut Houston is.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I'm excited for this game. I want to learn about it, because Tennessee's not really tested too much before this. They've got December games that'll be very interesting.
Yeah,
this is be the first one where we're going to see what Tennessee is.
Right.
Now, speaking of Houston, my last game here is Houston-Auburn, and I'm going to keep this short and sweet and to the point. The reason I have this on there is welcome to the show, Steven. Let's see what you got. That's all I got.
Well,
that is a I was questioning this matchup before that, and then now you're
yeah,
third fire and flames.
This is a hey, guess what? You're not your daddy's son, right? Or this is you're your own man. You stepped up and you took on a juggernaut, and you did well. You stayed close, or you shocked the world. I don't see that happening. Feels like Houston's just going right at the SEC, and like I said, this isn't daddy's team anymore, Steven. This is time for you to be a man and show us what you got.
Well, Houston's the only major team in Texas that we decided we didn't make a run at. So we got A&M in Texas. Maybe they're mad about it. I've got the last one I got is Illinois, Alabama, because I think there will be 7 trillion points scored. They might still be scoring in that game, and we'll already have a March Madness champion, and their points will still be calculated. If that game goes like I think it is, I think he's going to get more. There's going to be so many threes like shot in this game. It's going to look like a Harlem Globetrotter scoreboard, because it's either going to be a 30-foot three or a 2-foot dunk. off a rebound, and the pace is going to be outrageous. I'm going to be tired from just going like this, like I'm watching tennis, because that game is going to be zooming. It's going to be one of the more fun games out there, and I think it's going to be a rather close game, and I think it's absolutely carry all the hype, because Illinois, I think, will be ranked pretty good coming in. Alabama's already going to be ranked fairly well, and I think we're just going to get a fantastic game.
This game starts in roughly 45 days, and there's already been 86 3-point attempts. So
Go ahead, Sam.
I'm excited for this just because it's going to be at a frenetic pace.
Yep.
And then because of the pace, you're going to have announcers trying to pronounce the alphabet soup that is the Illinois basketball team during this entire thing. Like, it's between that and the pace and the 3-point shots and probably all likelihood the high scoring. I mean, I'm going to record it so we can watch it again.
Yeah. But by the time we get the word Stojakovic out after he makes a 3, you're going to be trying to figure out which Alabama player shot the 3.
Right, exactly.
That
the
is going to be exciting.
Alabama name won't be a phonetic nightmare.
No, it'll just feel
It'll
right.
roll at the time.
Man, well, that's our top 15 games there, and
that's just November.
Yeah.
Wait till we get to December. There's so much more in December.
I don't know that we can do just 15 in December. I don't know that that's possible, but I feel like we got to trim it down at some point in some way. And we can share with you all these games that we're highlighting as, we get into the season starting and things like that. We'll be addressing these games and being talking about them and leading up to them and obviously reacting to them. I mean, one part of being on the bench is being reaction and showing your reaction to these things. And so we're going to be definitely delivering that during the season, which is going to be exciting. And I think I've been this excited for a college basketball season in my life. So it can't get here any quicker. And honestly, this Bruce Pearl news has only just heightened up my excitement just because people are talking about ball. And I love it.
Yeah, if you got a matchup here in November that you didn't hear, let us know. We'll talk about it in the next.
For sure.
Yeah,
if we can talk about a matchup, we're going to. Now, if you say it's going to be like New Jersey State versus Alabama South Christian Girls School, we're probably not going to talk about it.
Unless maybe there's a bench behavior in there somewhere or standing O that we can root for somebody. I mean,
maybe
you never know.
Alabama's got the 4th best basketballer.
Yeah, right. Oh, that was a good dig.
Some of the ones I had on here that we didn't get to: Oregon, San Diego State, Arizona, UConn. I think it's going to be fantastic. We learn a lot about Arizona. VCU, NC State. I want to learn about NC State and see what Will Wade's got.
Yes.
Then VCU. I've got 3 of their games on here because I'm interested to see what VCU does. You got NC State. I think it's going to be very interesting. I want to learn about Will Wade. Utah State, because I think when those two match up, it'll be fun to see what's going to happen in March. Because I'm super high on South Florida, I want to see how South Florida stacks up.
I'm curious to see what Wofford is going to look like when they roll it out there.
Yeah,
and how this thing all shakes out. I think that'll be interesting to see what actually has happened. I need to do some story and see if the NCAA has gotten more involved or more has been said. That'll have to be for next episode because I think that'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. And hopefully things are done right. We talked about that last week. And if you don't know what we're talking about, go back and listen to it for last week's episode. We talked about the Wofford weird scenario over there and the firing of their coach and suspension of quite a few of their players, literally almost half of them. Not great for the old Wofford game there.
Our coach, who hasn't just let us know that we're up 60, it's time for us to come in.
Well, they got to do our jobs. Your favorite human victory cigar has got to go deal with the rest of this mess.
All right. See y'all next blowout.
And if you made it this far, you're already part of the bench mob. So hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more chaos. Bench Points is on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you pretend to know ball.